Hello, welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. One more. With this microphone. 5 in the morning. Whether or not the world changes around me, my priorities stay the same. Barring a job request or other special circumstances, I run. Simple as that. I did watch the last 2 recordings though, and it sounded okay. I think it sounded okay, I don't know. Should I keep using this microphone? Haven't seen Michiru yet today, of course. It's still early in the morning, but I've got the sense she won't be approaching me quite so proactively from now on. Naturally, that's because the others are coming back. With their return, our private make-believe world is coming to an end. We'll be returning to our normal lives, such as they are. I run my standard route at a fixed, moderate pace, careful not to wind myself, and finish with a light cooldown cruise. Of course, I regularly pour water into my heated body to prevent dehydration. It's the exact same routine as always, but for some reason it feels less than fully satisfying today. The day slips past noon, and there's still no sign of Michiru. I briefly consider heading up to her room to see if anything happened, but that would probably be an overreaction. It's possible that she's just sleeping in, for one thing. After all, we've been running around all over the place on those pretend dates. It wouldn't be surprising if the accumulated fatigue caused her to oversleep. In the end, I decide to take a walk around the campus to clear my mind. I'm fully familiar with the scenery by now, but a firm grasp of the local terrain and arrangement of nearby buildings is extremely important. It's crucial to maintain awareness of viable escape routes and suitable places to take shelter in case of an emergency. At such times, up-to-date and precise knowledge of your environment can be the difference between life and death. Therefore, I proceed to sequentially compare the layout of the area against the map in my mind. Sakaki?
Tadaima.
What's with that look on your face? Something wrong?
いいえ、むしろ何かあったのはあなたじゃない？とても怖い顔をしていたわよ。
As I was imagining various crisis scenarios while reviewing the area, it seems my face naturally grew somewhat fierce. I stick my index fingers in the corners of my mouth and push them upward. How's this? Better now?
何それ？風見くんどうしちゃったの？
You said I was scary, so I constructed a pleasant smile for your benefit. What's so strange about that?
そうだけど、そんなことする人だった？
Even I clown around every once in a while.
おどけてみなさいよ。
Very well, I will now tell a joke. A sandwich walks into a bar. The barman says, "Sorry, we don't serve food in here." Sakagi, my friend, allow me to explain. The word serve can refer to both offering certain items for sale.
いやいやいや、分かってる、分かってます。面白くなかっただけ。
Stop, it was funny. What? I had a lot of confidence in that one. It was a smash hit in Bien Fu, you know?
それは良かったわね。どこかわからないけど。ともかく冗談を言うのは知ってたけど、なんだかちょっと変わったみたい。
Don't know about that. I'm the same person I've always been.
あ、そうだ。ちゃんとお土産買ってきたわよ。はい、これ風見くんの分。
Whoa, a fluorescent green glow-in-the-dark skeleton keychain. Never expected you would actually buy one, much less an anatomically correct model with limbs that rattle back and forth.
だってちゃんと言ってたでしょ、これ買ってくるって。
Well, I suppose, but the visual impact was intense enough that this fanfare rang out in my head.
ちょっと言ってることわかんない。それと松島さんにこれペナント6枚、種類がたくさんあって迷ったから、とりあえず同じ柄を6枚にしておいた。
I see. Give them to her later. I'm sure she'll be pleased.
そうかな。それじゃあね。
Penance, though. You barely even find those things in souvenir shops these days. Where exactly does the Kaki wander off to anyway? A few minutes later, Makino's voice unexpectedly reaches my ears. Her high-pitched squawking prompts something almost like nostalgia. That must mean Amane's back as well.
ただいまー。あれ、せっかく帰ってきたのにユージってばあんまり嬉しそうな顔してくれないのね。なんなら熱い抱擁でもしようか。
Not necessary. I'm satisfied to see you safely return. That's all that matters.
何より？ね、何より？何？
I'll rephrase that. I find your safe return preferable to the alternative.
ああ、なるほどね。無事の方が無事じゃないよりいいもんね。ああ、懐かしいな。お兄ちゃんのその声、その顔、その笑顔。
I don't think I'm smiling, actually.
え、そうだっけ？じゃあ笑ってみせるのよさ。
No, I think I'll pass. I tried something similar just now, but it didn't get a very good reception.
ずるい。私にも笑いかけてほしいのよさ。
Alright, enough of that. Amane, my friend, were you able to enjoy a satisfactory period of rest and recreation? Amane answers while lightly smacking her own shoulder in a show of weariness.
まあ、ある程度はね。でもほら、時期も時期だから、地元でお祭りがたくさんあって、それにいちいちマキナが行きたがるのよ。だってさ、お祭りってさ、いいじゃん。だから行きたいじゃん。イカ焼きあるし。食べられないのにたくさん買って、相変わらずって感じ。結局どこにいてもマキナと一緒だと変わらないわね。あ、そうだ。お兄ちゃんイカ焼き食べる？ 4 日前のだけど。食べるかなと思って取っておいたのよさ。やめときなさいよそれ。食べられないと思うわよ。大丈夫だよ。アルミホイルでくるんでおいたからいけるはず。
Makina went out of her way to bring it back, so I suppose I'll take a bite. Surely a very small amount can't do that much digestive damage.
やめときなってば。なにどうしたの？騒がしいじゃない。帰ってきたのに私に挨拶なしとは舐められたもんね。ビシー。
Michiru makes an abrupt, dashing entrance just as before, Just as before, she's fully clad in tsundere armor, her expression cheerful and energetic.
チルチルイカくん
I just wanted to say that right.
食べるわよミチルそれ
What a bold spirit. Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
ほら担当を食べほらほらなにこれ酢漬けか酸っぱいわかんないあ、そうわあうまかったミチルは相変わらずねそうよ相変わらずよ
In response to Amani's words, Michiru shoots a quick glance in my direction. I'm not sure of the meaning behind this, if there is any.
ねえお兄ちゃん久しぶりだから今日は一緒に寝るのよさ
Makina leaps my direction and unabashedly coils herself around my arm. The girl seems to be performing her best impression of a monkey escaped from the zoo. Somebody's weirdly brazen today.
それがね途中からユージに会いたいってダダっ子みたいになってね寂しかったみたいでもすっごい不思議チルチルのことは思い出さなかったのよあれ冗談なのよチルチル
Michiru bites her lower lip and stares in our direction with a troubled expression on her face.
チルチルってばねえねえ何よなんでもないわよ私は普通よ
It's clear that Michiru suddenly lost her composure. She actually seems to be hyperventilating slightly. What's wrong, Michiru? Calm yourself.
だからどうもしてないってばどこにでもいる普通のツンデレじゃないちょっと気にしすぎよ
Somehow, I'm not convinced. I exchange looks with Amane. She seems equally concerned.
大丈夫よねマキナ部屋に戻って荷物を片付けちゃおうかへえもうちょっとお兄ちゃんとの再会を味わいたいのよさいいからほら早くね
Practically torn off me by Amane, Makina grudgingly sets off toward the dorm.
また後で遊んでね
Yeah. As soon as the two are out of sight, Michiru lowers her head to me apologetically.
ごめんなさい
For what?
あんな態度とってでも違うのそういうんじゃなくて本当に違うのみんながいて嬉しいのすごく楽しいでも怖くなっちゃったの
Scared of what
前にも
exactly?
言ったけどみんなずっと一緒にいられないんだって思ったらとても悲しくなってそれで変になっちゃったごめんなさい
I drop a hand onto Michiru's head and pet her like a cat. That's no good. If you're a tsundere, then act like one. You're worrying too much about a lot of things.
にゃあんまり変な感じにならないようにするね
You do that. There's still plenty of time until graduation, isn't there? No reason to break down now.
わかった
It's eating something on top of your head.
うん、気にしないで。ビスケットだから。
I'll admit to being somewhat worried, but I'll do my best to pretend otherwise.
風見さんにみちる様じゃないですか。これはお久しぶりでございます。小峰幸、再びこの地に舞い戻ってまいりました。あら、幸じゃない。ちょっと見ない間に。いや、特に変わり映えしないわね。そうですね。人というのはそれほど簡単に変わるものではありませんからね。みちる様は元気そうですが、風見さんはいかがですか？
No problems worth mentioning.
そうですか。それは良かったです。今日からは風見さんとずっと一緒にいますから、もしご用があれば何なりと申し付けてくださいね。もちろんみちる様も遠慮はいりませんからね。それでは私、荷物の整理を。サチは普通のこと言ってるだけだよね。それなのになぜか胸が痛くなる。ずっと一緒にいるってユージに言った時、心が苦しくなった。なんだろうこれ。
Don't ask me. You'll probably be back to normal soon enough.
そうか、そうだよね。うん、そうだね。私、今日は部屋で休むことにする。ちょっと調子悪いや。
松島さん。これ、お土産。
ごめん。今日は休むから明日にしてくれる？ごめんね。
ペナント。
My apologies, but Michiru seems to be under the weather. Save those for next time, alright?
ペナ。
With all the students back in the dormitory, our normal lives pick up where they left off 2 weeks ago. Or so I'd like to say. But just as I'd feared, things don't go quite so smoothly. When Michiru spends time with the group, she's quiet and gloomy. Even the perpetually oblivious Makina has caught on, leading to tactful comments such as, "You're acting weird lately, cheer cheer." From what Michiru's told me, the source of her distress is her belief that everything ends eventually. Personally, it strikes me as pointless to worry about such things, but the girl's clearly suffering in her own way. Our anxieties and fears are personal things. It's impossible for others to ever fully understand them. As the girl grows increasingly unstable, the other Michiru has begun to appear in her place much more frequently. She seems, to put it lightly, somewhat concerned about the situation. That you, Michiru?
そうよ。私。
Oh, it's you again? You seem to be appearing a lot recently.
仕方ないでしょ。あの子が怯えて外に出ようとしないんだもの。ずっと部屋に閉じこもっているようなものよ。実際部屋に閉じこもってることも多いけど、あの子なんて言ったかしら。
Meowmel.
その猫と一緒に部屋で遊んでばっかり。どうも君にもあまり関わらないようにしてるみたい。
Me? Why would she do that?
わかるでしょ。怖いのよ。 依存してしまうのがいつか失うこと。思春期には珍しいことじゃないけど、少し彼女の場合は大げさね。
So is there something I can do about this?
そうね。
After briefly thinking it over, she answers in a careful, deliberate tone.
病院に連れて行ってあげることが一番だと思うわ。彼女はとても不安で、それを誰も慰めることができないの。
Sounds like a pragmatic approach.
君が永遠の愛を誓って自らの血を捧げたとしても、その約束が本物だという証拠がない限り、あの子は安心しない。かといって永遠を証明するために何十年も時間をかけるわけにはいかない。
And these days, we have plenty of respectable, competent psychiatrists, I see.
それだけじゃないけどね。隅々まで精密検査を受けさせてほしい。何かわかるかもしれない。
Either way, Michiru's not going to like the idea.
でも仕方ないでしょ。
Worried by the sound of our voices, the black cat pops up out of nowhere. But after taking one look at Michiru, it pauses in confusion, then quickly retreats.
これは少しシリアスな話だけど。
Her face suddenly graves. The girl stares me steadily in the eye.
あの子がこれ以上おかしくならないようにちゃんと見ていてあげて。
Yeah, I guess that might be warranted at this point. With those words, I turn and leave. The girl's arguments seem reasonable enough, but it's unsettling to take advice from someone I know so little about. Who or what is she anyway? I can speculate, but the answer's beyond my grasp. The more I try to fit the pieces together, the more of a scrambled, confusing mess the boy becomes. Later that same afternoon, there's a knock at my door. It's fine, come in. I wait a few seconds, but the visitor makes no move to enter. I stand and proceed to open the door myself. Unsurprisingly, Michiru is standing on the other side with a dismal look on her face. What's wrong? You stopped by for a reason, I assume. How about coming inside? The girl was barging in without warning only a few days ago, but things have changed. It's as though Michiru walked here through a rain shower. Her shoulders are swamped, and you can practically see the melancholy dripping from her bangs. Retrieving her remove candies from that sharp pouch of hers, she tosses one after another into her mouth. Perhaps the girl's trying to energize her brain with a rush of glucose, but this still seems somewhat excessive. You're going to give yourself diabetes, then people aren't immune, you know.
ならないもん。気持ちを落ち着かせるための糖分だもん。
Michiru looks up at me with bloodshot eyes, seemingly waiting for me to say something. Unfortunately, I have no idea what she's expecting. What? If you got something to say, then spit it out already.
たデートしない？
Michiru asked the question with the tentative wariness of a small animal peeking out from behind a tree. I think she may have deliberately framed the question in a way that allows her to pass it off as a joke, depending on my reaction. Didn't we talk about this before? That was just a game to kill time, right?
わかってるわよ。そうよね。そうなのよ。でもほら、楽しかったのは事実じゃない？だからどう？
Think about it though. If the others notice, they're going to take it the wrong way.
そうよね。わかってるわよ。ちょっと冗談で言っただけよ。でもさ、ほら、キスだけでもしない？
What are you saying, woman?
なんてね。だから冗談だってば。あんた本気にしたの？まったくもう、ジョークのわからない男ね。
Hard to take it as a joke when you say it with such a desperate look on your face.
切実な顔なんてしてないわよ。余裕よ、余裕。あ、ニャンメルおいでー。にゃー。私はね、別に寂しくなんてないんだからね。ニャンメルがいれば平気だもん。にゃー。ほら、いつものビスケットあげる。むちょむちょ、むちょむちょ。
The black cat instantly bites into the doughy cake Michiru offers, not even bothering to smell it first. Foolish little beast. Nothing good can come of allowing yourself to be so thoroughly domesticated. Well, that works, I guess. They say animal therapy can be surprisingly effective.
何よセラピーって。私は別に普通だもん。
Michiru turns her back to me and makes to leave the room, but she hesitates in front of the door to mumble one final comment.
あんまり他の女の子と仲良くしないでね。
I wait for the follow-up, anticipating something along the lines of a gotcha, or perhaps, you took me seriously again? What an idiot. But instead, Michiru simply opens the door and trudges out. Things seem to be heading in a problematic direction. As if to illustrate, the gathering rain clouds outside cast my room into a grayish gloom. I'm neither a prophet nor a playboy, but I have a strong suspicion that the balance of this claustrophobic shoebox garden is rapidly breaking down. To fully decipher a story, you need to proceed through it in the proper order. Skipping ahead and learning how things end doesn't mean you understand the substance of the matter. We have no choice but to patiently absorb the author's words and wait for things to come together. But it can be difficult at times, even for me. I've been known to flip forward a few pages and take a peek. Once you've read even one line out of order, learning one thing you shouldn't have, it's not impossible to wipe your memory clean and return to your previous spot. No matter what sort of sentence it may be, you have no choice but to accept it. That's the price we pay for our curiosity.
そうしたらユージってば私に向かってこんなこと言うのよ。それじゃあコロッケが台無しだなって。それはお兄ちゃんらしいのよ。なるほどね。また その続き聞かせてね。もちろんよ。さ、今日解散。チルチルは変になったり元気になったり落差が激しいのね。でもそれがチルチルらしさなのよさ。人生はテンション、世の中は緩急、それが大事ってわけよ。ふふん。それじゃマキナ、おやつ食べに行こうか。おやつだったらあれ食べたい。ジャイアントチョッキー。はいはい、買ってあげるからね。
Nice impersonation. Seems I've become something of a celebrity.
ああ、ユウジ君。さっきまであの子ちゃんとここにいたのに、君の気配を感じたら急に引っ込んじゃったわよ。
You don't say. Is she that angry at me?
そういうことじゃないけど。でもどうしたらいいかわからないわ。
So you've been deliberately filling in when she feels like disappearing then?
まあ。
What's wrong, Michiru?
ごめん。部屋まで運んで。
Michiru practically collapses into my arms, limp as a ragdoll, fainting in the middle of a conversation. This is a first. What the heck is going on with this girl anyway? I carry Michiru to her room and lay her down on her bed. Although I expected her to be out for a while, only a few moments pass before she groggily sits up. It'll probably take a few moments for her to fully regain consciousness, but at least she appears to be alright. Unfortunately, the girl who woke up appears to be the Michiru I know best. You alright? Look at the light. I check the reaction of her pupils with my pen light, but can't find anything out of the ordinary. Of course, at this point, I was worried about the girl's physical condition than her psychological state. I'm going to be blunt, Michiru. You should go to a hospital. You can't maintain a normal life under these circumstances. You know that yourself, don't you? That girl said the same thing. It's probably an appropriate step at this point. I curse silently, but it's too late. Since I wasn't in a position to predict the consequences, I've been careful to avoid directly mentioning the other girl to Michiru, but I was distracted by the problem in front of my eyes and my tongue slipped. Now that we've reached this point, coming up with some half-done lie would probably be counterproductive. Instead of trying to bluff, I answer honestly. She's... well, I guess she's the other you. Michiru slowly raises a hand in front of her face, then sits there staring blankly into her palm like a wind-up toy that's run out of spring.
心のどこかでこんな風に考えたかったの。眠ってる間に勝手に起き上がって水を飲むようなことと同じだって。無遊病みたいなもので自分が無意識になっているって。だけどそうじゃないって最初から分かってた。ある時期を境に彼女が出てきたことを知ってる。はっきりともう一人いるんでしょ。
That's right. There's definitely something else entirely inside you.
そっか。 そうだよね。うん。ユージは彼女とお話ししたの？
Yes, we've had several conversations.
何度か。それとも何度も？
Many, I guess. To be accurate, I've been talking with her pretty frequently these last few days. I'd really appreciate a straight answer. Michiru, who is she?
そんなの私だってわかんないよ。
I have the distinct sense that Michiru's hiding something, but there's clearly no point pursuing the topic further right now. I offer a quiet nod instead. The girl seems to know you very well, down to the last little detail. You'd almost think she was standing over your bed and watching you sleep. But in comparison, you don't know anything about her.
うん。だって記憶がなくなっちゃうから、その子のことはよくわからない。
Guess there's nothing we can do about that. In any case, she said it would be wise to get you to a hospital and...
ねえ、ユージ。
Michiru interrupts me in mid-sentence. I answer with a curt yes.
どんな女の子？
What kind? Sorry, what are you asking?
もう一人の私ってどんな喋り方でどんな風にものを考えてどんなことをするの？ユージの口からそれを聞きたい。
A problematically broad question, but I decide to offer my honest impressions as they come to me. The other you is sociable and proactive, even aggressive. The girl makes sure her opinions are known. That said, she refuses to talk about herself, so I can't say much more. What I do know is that she seems to be a frank, no-nonsense person.
うん。それで
Michiru pesters me for more with the expectant eyes of a child demanding another chapter from a picture book. The girl sometimes takes eccentric actions, but she makes sure to handle the consequences herself. Seems to prefer clear-cut lines of responsibility. She's unpolished in some respects, but on the whole, I think it's fair to say she handles herself well. In particular, she commits herself respectively with our classmates while you're out, to the degree that nobody realizes it's not the real Michiru, at least.
そっか。やっぱり彼女か。その子はユージから見て悪い子じゃないんだよね。
Not sure what standard you want me to judge her against, but I don't think she's a heartless sociopath. That said, I know very little about what she's really thinking.
私より上手に生きれるんだとしたら、その子が私の代わりをずっとした方がいいのかもね。
Hold on. We shouldn't even be thinking about anything like that. If this is some sort of illness, we need a qualified doctor to call the shots. Although I keep it to myself, a certain proverb does occur to me. Two kings can't live in one country.
うん。難しくて、どうすればいいかよくわかんないや。
But for some reason, there's an oddly relieved smile on Michiru's face. It's the expression of someone who had a wad of gum clearly peel off the bottom of their shoe by pure chance.
次の質
Okay.
問。ユージはその子のこと好き？
If you're asking whether I feel animosity toward her, then
違うよ。そんな話じゃない。女の子として好きかどうか。
difficult to answer. I haven't been looking at her in that way.
じゃあ分かりやすく言えば、その子がユージにキスをしてきたら嫌だってこと。
I wouldn't shove her away, but that's about all I can say. I recall my first definite encounter with the girl in question, when she did in fact abruptly kiss me. She justified it as the curiosity of someone without romantic experience, but in retrospect that seems a strange excuse.
なるほどなるほど。つまりそれって嫌じゃないってことだよね。
Hold on, Michiru. Is there some point to these questions?
ちょっと待ってよ。ユージ、前に私がキスしてきたって言ってたぞ。ねえねえ、もしかしてそれって彼女とキスしたってこ
The
と？
girl's normally about as sharp as a pile of bricks, but she hones right in on the problematic points. What a pain. That's right, I suppose we might have kissed. Wasn't on my initiative, though. The girl suddenly pushed her lips on me.
そうなのか。じゃあ私がファーストキスだと思ってたのはそうじゃなかった。
Michiru slowly traces her mouth with a fingertip as she speaks. Probably doesn't even realize she's doing it. As her finger passes back and forth along her lips, her previously clear face begins to cloud over. A deep wrinkle forms in the middle of her forehead, resembling the footprint of a bird in fresh snow.
前に私が落ち込んでた時慰めに来てくれたよね。でもその時にお前に言われ、それもそういうこと？つまりもう一人の私に言われたってこと？
That's right, it was.
ふん、そうなのか。慰めに来てくれてユージって優しいとか思っちゃったし。ねえ、デートは？私とデートごっこしてくれたのは？
I agreed because the idea of playing house with you didn't strike me as objectionable. But to be fair, the girl had asked me to date you beforehand.
そっ
I don't want you to misunderstand what I just said, so I'll clarify. I didn't play house with you because that girl told me to. It was entirely my decision.
そんなこと言われてもわかんないよ。だってその子に言われたんでしょ。なんでデートしてなんてお願いしたんだろう。
She claimed to be asking because you've fallen in love with me.
それすっごい恥ずかしいじゃん。それって私の気持ち全部その子に筒抜けってこと？
It's just what she said to me. Your feelings are something only you understand for sure.
そうだけど、でも実際に好きだもん、ユージのこと。
I try to answer, I see, but the words don't manage to escape my suddenly hoarse throat.
ああ、もうおかしくなりそう。だって今もこの会話だってその子が聞いてるってことでしょ。その子は私よりもうまく人と付き合えて、うまくユージと会話ができて、自分からキスもできちゃう女の子なんでしょ。そんな子に私かなわないよ。
Michiru seems ready to cry at any moment. I head to the sink, fill a glass with water, and quietly hand it to her. She accepts it with a muted, "Thank you," but doesn't drink.
私が今までずっとやってきたことってあんまり意味なかったのかな。ほら、前に言ったんじゃない？気がついたら全部がうまくいくようになってるって。それって全部その子がやってくれてたわけでしょ。だったら私がいる意味って何なんだろう。その子が私よりよくできた子だとしたら、私の存在の意味は？
At the end of this long cascade of words, Michiru heaves a brief, heavy sigh, as if reaching a command to breathe in some invisible musical score.
私ね、ユージとデートできてすごく嬉しかったんだ。キスも初めてのキスだと思ってたんだ。でも全部違ったんだね。私バカみたいじゃない？
Not from where I'm standing. Don't worry about it.
気にするよ。すっごい気にする。どうしていいかわかんないもん。
The black cat wanders in through the door and twines around Michiru's lower legs, but her expression remains stiff.
ミャンメルと初めて会ったのも、大好きだって思った場所も全部自分で見つけたわけじゃなくて、彼女に導かれたってことだよね。私何もできてないね。変だな。ごめんね、やめる。今は無理だよ。ごめん。本当に一人にさせて。やめる。
The cat rubs up against Michiru's feet persistently before finally realizing she won't be dispensing the attention it's looking for. It leaves the room in evident disappointment. It's almost like watching a shadow with its own will break free of Michiru's body and escape.
ユージごめん。一人にさせて。私、彼女のこと好きじゃなかったんだ。でもこんな風になったら、どうしたらいいかわからないよ。
After silently patting Michiru's head a few times, I obediently leave her room. It's raining outside. Not entirely sure when it started, but our surroundings are already thoroughly damp, chill, and gray. The black cat dashes off somewhere through the cold rain, casting a long, narrow shadow behind it. I try to call its name, but it's as though my throat has grown rusted. My voice is wiped out by the sound of the falling raindrops. Oh. I'd expected the rain to linger, but it vanishes with surprising swiftness. Before I know it, the sound of raindrops against the window disappears, and the cicadas emerge from their hiding places to join in a vigorous chorus of chirps. The sunlight streaming in from the window is so bright, it almost feels like the dismal little scene in Michiru's room was all an illusion. As the air grows thick with humidity, I rest my hands on the damp desk and settle my breathing. The world, previously dark as night, has at least regained its luster. I can only hope the change in weather rallies Michiru's spirits a little. Alright then. With those words, I push myself up off the desk. At times, it can be easiest to postpone the planning phase until after you've started moving. My head feels strangely heavy on my shoulders. My thoughts are sluggish and vague. Unless I verbally spur myself on, I don't think I'll manage to take even the first step forward. Alright then. What next? I speak again, trying to get into gear, but my wheels can't find any traction. Well, sometimes it doesn't come easy. I continue speaking my thoughts aloud, but my strangely flat words evaporate into the muggy air. Seems like this technique just isn't going to work today. But fortunately, the deadlock's broken from the other side. I stand and quietly open the door. Michiru stands outside my room with a face full of regret and anxiety, eyes darting back and forth. She plays with the hem of her skirt. The girl clearly hasn't calmed down yet. Judging from those terribly bloodshot eyes, she was probably crying in her room until not so long ago.
ごめんなさい。
Michiru is just full of apologies lately. At this point, it's no longer clear what she's even sorry for. They're meaningless words, filler for when she doesn't know what else to say. You don't need to apologize. Want to come in?
大丈夫。でも私、どうしていいのかわからなくて。
I see. I'm not responsible enough to tell you it's not a problem, let alone don't worry about it. But right now, you're too upset to think. Maybe you should pet that cat for a while until you feel a little better.
そうだね。私もそう思ってた。メオメル、ユージのとこに来てるから。
No, he's not in here. I saw him heading out of the school a little while ago.
そっか。じゃあそこかな。私、ニャーメルを探しに行ってくるね。
Michiru sets off down the hallway, presumably intending to head for the usual high bridge, but after only a few steps, she loses her balance and has to steady herself against the wall. Maybe you should get a little rest first.
だってさっきニャーメルに冷たくしちゃったからすぐ謝らなくちゃ。これあげるの。
Michiru holds out her hand to show me a small plastic bag full of biscuits in the shape of various animals.
これはね、いい子にしてた時にだけあげてるの。ちゃんと猫用に作っても一度にたくさんあげたらお腹壊しちゃうから、ちょっとずつね。
The girl forces a strained, quavery smile onto her face. In combination with her swollen red eyes, the effect is downright pitiful. I see. By which you presumably mean I just bought too many. You can have one, but that's it.
え？あ、そう。私ツンデレだもんね。そういう風に言わないとね。
Either way, I'll come too. I can't leave you alone in this condition.
本当？嬉しいな。これってデートかな。
I think the term search and rescue operation is more appropriate.
つまりデートじゃないの。
I decided to come along entirely on my own. Nobody else played any role. Is that not enough for you?
それでいいよ。じゃあ行こう。
Michiru reaches down and grasps my hand. Since there's no particular reason to shake her off, I squeeze back with a moderate amount of force. But what do you plan to do if someone sees us like this? Won't your sooner reputation be ruined?
いいのよ。ユージが勝手に付きまとってきてるってことにするんだから。
Now you're going to make me into a stalker? You really are nothing but trouble, princess.
ニャーメルニャーメル
Looking around the area restlessly, Michiru calls out the cat's name again and again. Probably wasted effort. I think I'd be able to sense his presence if he was hiding around here. I saw him running toward the road, so he probably left the premises for a while. Maybe he's still outside the campus?
私が冷たくしたから驚いちゃったんだろうな。ねえユージ、ニャンメルが許してくれなかったらどうしよう。
Won't forgive you? Give him a little food and he'll forget it ever happened. It's just a cat, you know?
何よその言い方。意地悪。やっぱりいないな。
You have a place in mind, right? No need to be so uneasy.
うん。
After a slow walk along the seaside road, we finally approach the usual spot. Michiru is not in great shape. She had to squat down and catch her breath several times, but she's refused to take a longer break.
だって早くニャンメルに会いたいもん。
Large puddles of water sit on the surface of the road, beautifully reflecting the blue sky above. Apparently trying not to disturb their brilliance, Michiru carefully steps around them as she walks. Even as I'm watching the girl hop around like an unusually dejected rabbit, my mind is somewhere else entirely. A certain unpleasant premonition has begun to take root inside me. At times like these, my animal instinct is vexingly accurate.
あれいないな。いつもはここにいるんだけど。ニャンメルニャンメル
Michiru frantically searches places where a cat might be hiding, but there's no familiar meow to greet her. The still damp grass leaf circle is slightly wet. Michiru, don't get too flustered even if he isn't here. Probably just hanging around somewhere else for the moment. There's no cause for alarm.
だってニャンメルいつも私の部屋かここにいるのに今日に限っていないなんて。
Only your room in here? That's more unusual than him going missing. We're dealing with a stray cat. Surely it has other haunts.
野良猫じゃないよ。ニャンメルだよ。ねえ、だったらどこか他の場所にいるのかな。ユージが先に寮に帰ってて、私は探すから。
Look for him where?
全部いそうなところ全部。
Again with the crazy talk.
ニャンメル
A light brown cat spotted with white emerges from a nearby clump of bushes. Michiru heaves a heavy sigh, then crouches down and talks to it.
ごめんね。探してるのは君じゃないのよ。ニャンメル知らない？黒猫の。
The stray cat seems to be primarily interested in the biscuits Michiru is holding, probably emerged after hearing the plastic bag rustling.
これは君にはあげられないのよ。でも一個だけなら。はい、どこかでニャンメルを見かけたら教えてね。
He might have just wandered back into the dorm on his own by now. Let's get going.
わかった。
Michiru trudges along, clearly discouraged. The sun's just now straight overhead, ruthlessly bathing us in midsummer heat.
こ行っちゃったのかな。
What's the point of speculating? It's completely unnatural for cats to wander off. He'll come back once he gets hungry.
私のせいで家出しちゃったってことだよね。だったら困るよ。それはすごい困る。ねえ、もしかしてここ大きな車も結構通るし、もしかして。
Don't get caught up in what ifs in the first place. All of a sudden, Michiru drops her plastic bag of biscuits onto the road. I pick it up and hold it out to her, but the girl shows no sign of reaching out to take it. What's wrong? Tired from the walk? I don't mind carrying you on my back if you want.
あれやめる。
Michiru slowly raises a finger to point far down the path. On the side of the asphalt roadway, there's a small black lump like a spot of spilled ink.
ねえユージ、あそこで倒れてるのにやめるかな。やめるじゃない。
I can't say from this distance. I'll take a look, so you stay here. Understand? Don't move an inch.
ね、ユージ。
The black lump's flying about 100 meters ahead. It must have tumbled along the road for a decent distance after the impact. There's a visible bloody trail leading to the small body. This is awful. Still breathing, but it's a matter of time. The black object before my eyes is without a doubt an unfortunate feline that was hit by a car. But I can't determine whether it's Michiru's pet or simply a stray that bears a strong resemblance to it. No, if I take the time to observe it calmly, I should be able to tell. But for now, I put that off.
やめる。
I told you to wait, Daria. Why didn't you listen? Ignoring my words completely, the girl approaches on trembling legs.
ユージ、この子にやめるだよ。
Michiru's expression instantly crumples with despair. Her eyes are already full of tears. I briefly hesitate, uncertain how to explain the reality before us. The cat responds to Michiru's call with a feeble croak. It's unmistakably that familiar meow.
ユージ、どうしよう。やめるが血が出てる。やめる。
Calm down. Panic isn't going to help anything. I'll take a look. I examine the cat where it lies limply on the road. There's bleeding from the mouth and ears, but the external wounds don't appear that severe. When I feel gently around the stomach area, I can feel the broken bones and ruptured viscera on the other side. The animal suffered serious internal damage from the impact. Small, bright red pools of blood have formed on the edge of the cat's eyes. When I pet his head, the animal blinks, sending them flowing down his face like tears. He'd been avoiding me all this time, but this wasn't exactly how I pictured our reconciliation.
ねえ、大丈夫なの。やめるは大丈夫なの。
He won't make it if we leave him like this. We need to get him to a vet, and soon.
わからないって死んじゃうの。いなくなっちゃうってこと。だってやだよ。
Tell me if you see a car approaching. All right, I'll stop them.
タクシーだ。待ってください。止まってください。
Hey, watch it. You trying to get yourself killed? As Michiru dashes out into the middle of the road, the driver screeches to a halt, then rolls down his window to shout angrily. I come running after and put both hands on the hood of his taxi. I'm sorry about my friend, but please hear us out. This is an emergency. Can you get us to a veterinarian quickly? We don't have time to argue, alright? In response to my forceful bluster, the apparently soft-hearted driver nods quietly. When I turn back, Michiru was already carrying the limp black cat in her arms. Get in, Michiru, and keep calm. I don't know. Let's focus on getting him to a veterinarian. That's the most we can do for Meowmel right now. Oh no, come on. I just wanted to read a little more. Oh. Inside Michiru's arms, Meowmel draws ragged, shallow breaths, trembling slightly. This isn't your fault. It was an accident. Apologizing isn't going to change anything. Large teardrops tumble down Michiru's cheeks and fall onto Meowmel's face. Oh, come on. The cat, lying there like a tattered old carpet, is slowly covered in a mixture of tears and blood. Michiru seizes the bag of treats from my hands, then breaks one up and places a tiny piece on the tip of her index finger. Meowmel tentatively sticks out his tongue and licks Michiru's finger several times. The fragment of biscuit on her finger quickly grows sticky and red with his blood. Distorting the truth would be easy enough, but what's the point? My lies can't dull her pain, much less save that cat. I offer them both a sincere answer. Hug him, Michiru. That's the only thing you can do right now. Meowmel begins to cough weakly, trying to spit out the saliva and blood pooling into his tiny mouth. But the light's gradually fading from his eyes. As Michiru strokes the cat, hair falls out in bloody clumps and sticks to the seat of the car. The driver glances tentatively back at us through the rearview mirror. Don't worry, I'll pay your cleaning bill. I reach out and gently rest a hand on Meowmel's body. His convulsions don't seem to be getting any better. There's no longer any room for wishful thinking. It won't be long. With one final soft purr, Meowmel extends his forelegs straight out as if to pester his mother for milk. In And just like that, he quietly reads his last. Michiru must have felt the very instant that tiny life disappeared inside her arms. Trembling violently, she looks over at me with bleeding eyes. I shake my head slowly, but she nonetheless presses her lips against the cat's blood-stained mouth and tries artificial respiration. It doesn't go well. In the end, she hangs her head and breaks into hysterical sobs. Some people would probably say it's only a cat, or maybe how much can a relationship that only lasted a few weeks really mean? But there's no denying the fact that this cat was an irreplaceable friend to Michiru. A beloved companion was just taken from her in the most meaningless, arbitrary way possible, right before her eyes. There's not even anyone to blame, no story to explain it, to enable acceptance. Death abruptly wandered by and snatched him away for no reason at all. Sorry, but please change the destination to Meowmel Academy. We don't have any reason to visit the veterinarian anymore. When I inform the driver of the situation, Michiru objects in a choked voice. That's not possible anymore. You know it isn't. Accept reality. I understand that you don't want to believe it, but there's nothing we can do.
どうしてユージはそんな冷静でいられるの？私こんなの耐えられないよ。もし私じゃなかったらニャメルは死なずに済んだの？一人のあの子だったら幸せな日々が続いてたの？
What use is there in talking about that? You're you, and she has nothing to do with this. We're getting out. Let me have the cat. I'll take care of it.
処理なんて言わないで。だってこの子ニャンメルだよ。二人で名前つけたんだよ。
I know. Look, just get out of the car, alright? This isn't the time to throw a tantrum.
どうしてなんで冷静でいられるの？ユージはニャンメルのことが大事じゃないの？ねえ、なんで？こうなったのも私が名前をつけたからだ。やっぱり名前なんてつけなきゃよかったんだよ。私と関係しなければよかったんだ。もうこれ以上悲しいことは嫌だよ。誰かと仲良くなったり笑ったりしても結局最後にはお別れしかないんだ。もういいや。こんなのひどいよ。
I grab Michiru by the wrist and forcefully yank her along. Shut up. Then embrace her forcefully. I hug Michiru's slender body against mine so strongly that it feels like I might break her. This is painful for me too. At those words, Michiru buries her face against my chest and begins sobbing convulsively. Meowmel dying is a sad, terrible thing for both of us, but you need to stop drawing connections that aren't there. The cat's death had nothing to do with anything else, and you sure as heck weren't at fault. This was an accident.
でも
I've been through something very similar myself. I know how it feels, alright. But there's no point in just breaking down. Do what you have to first. If you're going to cry, then do it afterward.
ないよ。私がするべきことなんてわかんない。
Then think. Don't run away. Come on. I was just about to say that this route is covering some really interesting topics. It was really good. And then that happened. Come on. Bye.